What's up, guys? All right, so today we're going to be talking about rational exponents and radical functions. Right here, you have an expression written in radical form. Okay, and what we're going to do is change it into rational exponent notation. Okay, we're going to change this into a base. For instance, this problem right here, the base is 4, okay? And the power is 5, okay? And this root is 3. And what we're going to do with this radical notation is change it into rational exponent notation, okay? So here's what I do, okay? It's actually pretty simple. It's just the basics. What you need to know is the basics right now, okay? And so basically, I know that this is the base, okay? That's the base. That's the power, okay? And this guy right here is the root, okay? And so watch what this turns into. It turns into 4 to the power of 5, and the root is 3, so it's to the power of 5 over 3. And notice what we have now? We have the notation with a rational exponent, right? The exponent is a ratio. The exponent is a fraction, okay? So that's rational exponent notation. All right, let's try another one. We have the square root of 3. All right, well, what's the base? Okay, good, the base is 3. What's the power that you see or that you don't see? Good, the power is 1. Okay, what is the root that you see or rather don't see? Okay, remember, if this is a square root, it's implied that that's a 2 right there. Okay, so the root is 2. There we have it, 3 to the power of 1/2. All right, let's work the other way. Let's do part B. Let's change into radical notation. That's my son in the background. I don't know if you could hear him singing songs. He loves to sing, and he's not embarrassed. Oh, I don't know why he stopped singing. Okay, anyway. All right, here we go. Let's do this example. I have 3 to the power of 7/3. All right, so if I'm going to change it into radical notation, automatically I need to write a radical, right? The base is 3, so I'm just going to write a 3 in there, okay? What goes here? The power, right? Well, what's the power? That's a 7, okay? And what goes here? The root. We'll look up here. The root is 3. Okay, we could try another one. Let's do 5 to the power of 1/6, okay? 5 to the power of 1/6. So we're writing it in radical notation, so automatically write down a radical sign. The base is 5, right? Okay. What's the power that you see? Good, it's 1, so you don't really need to write anything. And what's the root? It's 6. All right, let's evaluate some expressions. Part C, evaluate. All right, here's our first example. It is 8 to the power of 1/3. All right, this is the notation that I like to evaluate. Okay, what this asks for is the cubed root of 8. Well, what times what times what gives you 8? Well, that's 2, okay? All right, so the cubed root of 8 is 2. You can plug it into your calculator too, but it's probably better to do these in your head. All right, let's do another one. All right, how about 64 to the power of 2/3? All right, I do the root first, okay? What's the third root of 64? Okay, or the cube root of 64. What times what times what gives you 64? Well, that's 4, okay? So it's 4, okay? And then it's still to the power of 2, so I'm going to put 4 squared, because we did the root, that changed it into a 4, then it's still 4 squared, so that's 16. All right, let's do something like this. How about the cubed root of -125, okay? You could change it into this, -125 to the power of 1/3. You could do that, okay? All right, and what's the cube root of -125? So what times what times what gives you -125? Well, that's -5, okay? All right, and finally, let's solve some equations. All right. I'm racing the clock. I think my battery's going to run out, so I think I'm just down to a few more percent. So if I'm going kind of quick, that's why I feel kind of stressed about it. All right, here we go. Let's solve equations. All right, I'll try to do 4 of them. Hopefully I'll squeeze them all in. Ready? Here's the first one. I have 4x to the 5th power equals 128. All right, first things first, get that x to the 5th power by itself. So divide by 4, okay? Divide by 4, and x to the 5th equals, 4 goes into 12 3 times and into 8 twice, okay? And now take the 5th root, right? So I'm gonna go like this, right? I'm trying to solve for x, right? So I need to take a 5th root, okay? So I need to take a 5th root on this side, okay? So this cancels with this, I'm left with x. And what's the 5th root of 32? Basically, what times what times what times what times what gives you 32? You could probably guess it. That's right, it's 2. Okay? Now notice I got one answer. That's because my root is odd. Okay, here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's do this. Here, I'll jump to this one. 3x squared equals 108. Okay? All right, first step, divide by 3. All right, and you're left with x squared equals, that's 36. All right, watch. What do I need to do to both sides, right? You know this. Take the square root of both sides, right? It's a square root. Okay, I just don't write the 2. That's what I did over here. It's the 5th root, so you write a 5. Okay? Remember, what do you do every time you take a square root on both sides? You put plus or minus. You're going to do that every single time you have an even power, or if you're taking an even root. And I'll do another example like that. Okay, so x equals plus or minus, you know that, it's 6. All right, let me do 2 more, hopefully. All right, let's try this guy. 1/2 times x to the 10th equals 512, okay? Now I know what you're thinking, divide by 1/2. Yeah, you can, but that gets messy. If you have a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal, okay? So times by 2. All right, times that by 2 and times this by 2. So this cancels. I'm left with x to the 10th power equals, this is 1024. All right, now watch. I'm going to take the 10th root on both sides, right? So take the 10th root on both sides, take the 10th root here. And remember, it's an even root, so I'm going to put plus and minus. Okay? You only do that with even roots. All right, and you've been doing that forever. Every time you take the square root on both sides, you put plus or minus, okay? You do that with even roots. You've done this before, don't panic. All right, what's this turn into? X equals plus or minus the 10th root of 1024. You could do it on your calculator, or you could ask yourself, what times itself? 10 times. In other words, what number to the 10th power gives you 1024? I bet you can guess it. All right, it's 2. There we go. So answer is plus or minus 2. Let's do one last one. This should look familiar. Okay, we have x plus 4 squared equals 10. All right, what am I going to do first? All right, do not multiply x plus 4 times x plus 4. You can, but it'll take you too long. Watch, I want to get rid of that square, don't I? Take the square root. Okay, take the square root. If I take the square root on both sides, don't forget your plus and minus. It's an even root that I'm taking. Okay, all right. This cancels. I'm left with x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 10. All right, now subtract 4 on both sides. And x equals, put this in order. This goes first, so negative 4 plus or minus square root of 10. All right, and hopefully your homework isn't much harder. All right, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. Hit me up if you need anything. Peace.